Artificial intelligence in video games isn't exactly new. We've seen AI in games since Pac-Man, but nowadays it's a little bit different. It's way more advanced. It can do a completely different set of things than it used to. And in most cases, it means something completely different. And these changes are coming fast. Most of this stuff takes months to do and then just keep rolling out new AI things all of the time. This stuff's happening so fast, in fact, that I was given access to a game early that uses this for a dynamic conversation system where they will live transcribe what you're saying and then generate the response from the character. This is Campfire Cozy Friends, which is currently being developed. And we are going to bounce back and forth between the game and why this technology is so amazing. Because whether you agree with it or not, AI is here to stay and it's only ever going to get bigger. First up, let's talk about the pros. AI can make games more immersive and dynamic. Imagine NPCs that adapt to your play style, making each playthrough unique. Games like Middle-earth: Shadow of War use AI to create the Nemesis system, where enemies remember your actions and react accordingly. This adds a layer of depth and personalization that a static game just can't match. But in this game, this is not static AI. This is using OpenAI to generate real-time conversations using text-based LLMs, something that people have predicted, but at least to my knowledge, I have not seen it implemented yet. So for us to be able to see real NPCs that are interactable in real time with your voice and text and everything is amazing. But is it good? The short answer is yes. It lets you record your voice and then it will very quickly generate you a response. Now I have cut down a little bit of it just so that way the video flows correctly, but the load times are pretty small and they still feel pretty live considering that it's generating it in real time. This game really truly does feel like an Animal Crossing spiritual successor. You can kind of see it as you play through the game, and these characters are just the cutest darn things. There's a character creator, and you can do so much in this game, like collecting things and crafting things and all those different little tiny odd bits that are pretty much part of those casual games. So overall, the devs did a really good job at trying to implement this, and the system works pretty well. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are some cons to consider. One big issue is the ethical concerns. AI can be used to create deepfake voices or even entire characters, which raises questions about consent and copyright. Plus, there's the risk of AI being used to manipulate people and players. And at the cost of AI, it can build up during the current AI bubble that's growing. Now, this is not the fault of the developer. Not only are there certain blocks for copyrighted content, AI is more expensive to run and does not make sense unless it's run at a huge scale, which makes it even more impressive that an indie developer is attempting to make this happen and keep it both PG and within the bounds of the law. But this is a good thing. Trying to stay on the safe side is probably the best way to do it, and they don't use AI voices or anything like that, it's just the text generation. But this is a good thing anyway, because they're targeting a casual audience, like an Animal Crossing style game, where you don't really need that kind of stuff. Now, the developer is still targeting a release of Q4 this year or Q1 next year, but that means a couple of interesting things. That level of development time in the AI space is exponential. So many things could change, and even if they don't make that many changes to their own system, OpenAI is going to make that stuff better on top of it. It's almost a game that's going to grow with AI. AI advancement moves so fast that within those few months, we could very well see something completely different than what I just played. Not only will the tools be stronger, but the actual API requests and their responses will be just perfect. Any of the problems that I actually had while playing are the problems you normally have with AI, and I can tell that there are fail-safes when you get a bad response. A good example is saying that you want to go fishing may have an automated response because sometimes it won't say the right thing. A good example is if you try and reference a real-life material or something that you really shouldn't be saying. There's just some things that they gotta work out, and honestly, it's some of those things that they're gonna solve. AI can enhance creativity and empower creators. Tools like AI-generated voice acting may be controversial, but this game doesn't really have any of that. It's just the text that the whole world uses. So what's the catch? The truth is that games like this are working towards a creative mid-ground. Think about how Corridor made their own anime with AI. People were not happy, but otherwise, making that level of production would have been impossible. But speaking about that, yell at me if you want to see me try and do that with some not AI stuff, by just doing 3D models and shaders and doing all that cool stuff, because I was thinking about it. But back to the Campfire. So should AI be used in video games? The answer isn't black and white. It's a bit of a gray area. AI can enhance these gaming experiences in ways that you could not really imagine until you see this system. But we need to be mindful of those ethical and creative implications as well. As with any technology, it's about using it responsibly and thoughtfully, and I truly think that this game and the developers are doing it correctly. And honestly, it is really cool, and I think people should look into this more. You can get API keys from OpenAI, and it costs a little bit, but it works. You get to integrate AI into your projects. The system that they've implemented includes memory and emotions for the characters to feedback loop on, and there's role-playing modes so that way you could create a story with these characters, kind of like in the real OpenAI, but without the gray screen of death. It is an interesting game that is definitely in the casual category, like Animal Crossing, and it has a place in my library to boot up every week. So overall, I think it's worth it, and learning these different kind of AI tools is something that everyone should look at. And while these devs may be the first to try it, I think they deserve all the support you can give them, because honestly, this kind of stuff's really cool. But if you'd like to support the devs, the link to the Steam page is in the description, and you should go drop a wish list so that way they can, survive. Because indie dev is hard. The indie-pocalypse is here, so help out the people you think are cool. Now, if you're interested in other wacky projects from me, including AI and the Xbox Kinect doing some weird stuff with that, like and subscribe because they're on their way, and actually we've got some new stuff coming out this weekend and next weekend.